Listen to me, daughter. Let me whisper something to your heart. True beauty isn't in the mirror. It isn't in the eyes of strangers, and it isn't in the quick approval this world gives and then takes away. Real beauty comes from above, from the one who formed you. And when God looks at you, he doesn't see your wrinkles, your scars, your past failures, or your imperfections. He sees his masterpiece, his beloved daughter, his reflection walking on this earth. Too many women spend their days chasing a beauty the world defines. Slim bodies, perfect skin, expensive clothes, likes, comments, recognition. But let me make it clear, the beauty this world celebrates fades. It changes with trends. It disappoints when you think it will satisfy. But God's beauty, it is eternal, unshakable, undeniable. And when he calls you beautiful, there is no opinion, no insult, no rejection, no failure strong enough to erase it. This message tonight isn't just a collection of words. It's a reminder. It's a call. It's a declaration for every woman listening. Stop questioning your worth. Stop doubting your reflection. Stop letting the voices of this world define what God already settled long ago. Because once you begin to see yourself as he sees you, everything shifts. The way you walk changes. The way you speak changes. The way you live changes. That's why you can't pause this message halfway. You need to hear all of it, because I'm about to share 7 undeniable signs that prove you, yes, you, are beautiful in God's eyes. These signs will reshape the way you see yourself, the way you carry yourself, and the way you live from this moment on. Inner strength. That is the kind of beauty the world cannot strip away. It doesn't fade with age, it doesn't disappear with time, and it shines even brighter when life grows hard. A woman who carries inner strength is a woman who has walked through fire and still stands tall, not because the flames never touched her, but because God walked with her in the furnace. The beauty of such a woman isn't painted on her face. It is etched deep into her soul. She has scars that tell stories. She has tears that watered her prayers. She has victories that only heaven has witnessed. Her strength is what makes her beautiful in God's eyes, because it isn't prideful strength. It isn't the strength this world boasts about. It is divine strength that is born in weakness. There is something powerful about a woman who refuses to let the heavy weight of this world crush her spirit. She may bend, she may stumble, but she does not break, because her roots are planted in the rich soil of faith. She knows her beauty doesn't come from a flawless image on a screen. It comes from the resilience she lives out each day. When storms strike, she may cry, but she will not collapse. When disappointment knocks at her door, she may hurt, but she does not lose hope. When betrayal pierces her heart, she may bleed, but she still rises with dignity. That rising, that determination to press forward no matter what, reflects a strength the world cannot explain. And that strength, God himself calls beautiful. A woman with inner strength doesn't measure herself by the opinions of others. She doesn't need applause to prove her worth. She doesn't need approval to stand tall. Her validation comes from the one who formed her in the secret place, the one who spoke her name before the world even knew she would exist. That kind of confidence is not arrogance. It is the quiet assurance that no matter what life throws at her, she is held by hands that will never let her go. The beauty of her strength inspires others. Those who watch her survive, thrive, and move forward despite battles she has faced, they see living proof that strength isn't about never being broken. Strength is about how you rise when you've been broken. Think of the mothers who raised children on their own, working 2 jobs, sacrificing sleep, sacrificing comfort, but never giving up. Think of the women who carried heavy pain in silence, yet still managed to smile and lift up others. Think of the women who lost everything, but refused to lose their faith. That is inner strength. And in God's eyes, it shines brighter than diamonds, brighter than gold, brighter than anything this world can offer. Because while people look at outward appearances, God looks at the heart. And when he sees a heart that has endured, persevered, and held on, he calls it beautiful. Inner strength isn't about being loud or showing the world how tough you are. It's about the quiet battles nobody saw you fight. It's about the prayers you whispered when no one else could hear. It's about those nights when tears streamed down your face, yet you still got up the next morning to face another day. That kind of strength is beauty because it's born where weakness met God's power, where brokenness met his healing, where surrender met his grace. Every time a woman refuses to quit, every time she chooses faith over fear, every time she keeps moving forward when it would be easier to stop, heaven smiles, because she is reflecting the strength of her Father. The beauty of inner strength also shows itself in the peace it carries in the middle of storms. A strong woman may not have all the answers, but she knows where her help comes from. She doesn't panic when life shifts because her foundation is not built on temporary things. Her foundation is built on the rock firm, steady, unshakable. She can lose material possessions. She can lose friends. She can lose opportunities, but she does not lose herself. And that is where her beauty shines. It's the kind of beauty that makes people stop and wonder, how is she still standing? They don't realize she is standing because she is held by God. There is a glow that comes with inner strength. A radiance makeup cannot create, fashion cannot purchase. It's the glow of peace, the shine of hope, the light of faith. It's the beauty of a woman who has walked through valleys and still carries joy, who has faced storms and still carries love, who has seen darkness and still carries light. That glow makes her beautiful in God's eyes because it proves his power is alive in her. The world cannot grasp this glow because it isn't external. It is spiritual. It is a light that doesn't dim when the spotlight fades because it comes from within, from the Spirit of God living in her. When a woman understands the power of her inner strength, she no longer competes. She no longer compares. She no longer doubts herself. She knows she is fearfully and wonderfully made. She knows her scars are signs of survival, not weakness. She knows her past doesn't disqualify her. It magnifies her beauty because every hardship carved into her a deeper well of strength. Her laughter is more beautiful because she has known sorrow. Her kindness is more beautiful because she has known cruelty. Her patience is more beautiful because she has known delay. And all of that, the full story of her journey, creates a beauty everlasting in God's eyes. The beauty of inner strength is eternal. It doesn't wrinkle. It doesn't fade. It doesn't gray. In fact, it grows with time. The older a strong woman becomes, the more radiant her beauty is, because she carries wisdom, she carries endurance, she carries grace. The world may glorify youth and perfection, but heaven honors strength, faith, and character. That is why a woman walking in her God-given strength is beautiful, not just for a season, but for a lifetime. So if you ever doubt yourself, if you ever feel like you are not enough, remember this: beauty in God's eyes is not about outward perfection. It is about the strength inside you, the strength born in struggle, the strength rooted in faith, the strength that keeps you moving when everything says quit. That is the beauty he loves. That is the beauty he crowns. That is the beauty no mirror, no scale, no critic, no world can take away. Life is a journey filled with moments that shape us, break us, and build us. Every breath you take is a gift. Every sunrise is a reminder that you still have purpose, and every trial you face is an opportunity to grow stronger. Sometimes we forget that the struggles we endure are not punishments, but lessons that carry us closer to who we are meant to be. You may feel broken, you may feel lost, but even in those moments, you are not forgotten. Deep inside you, there is a strength that has not been touched yet, a fire that still burns even if it feels small. The truth is, your story is not over. The pain you feel now will not last forever, because seasons change, and no night has ever stopped the morning from rising. There are times when life feels unfair, when the weight on your shoulders feels heavier than what you can carry. You wonder why things had to happen the way they did. Why people you trusted hurt you, why doors closed when you gave everything you had. But hear this clearly, your worth has never been tied to how others treated you or the mistakes you made. You were created with value that no person and no failure can erase. Sometimes the disappointments are not endings, but redirections. What if the closed door was saving you from a path that would have destroyed you? What if the heartbreak was the very thing that kept you open to the love that was always meant for you? It is easy to look at your scars and see only shame, but scars are proof that you survived. They tell a story of battles fought and won. They remind you that even though the storm tried to take you down, you are still standing. Do not hide your scars, because someone else needs to see them to believe they too can heal. Your weakness does not disqualify you. In fact, it makes you human, and in that humanity, you become relatable, real, and honest. Strength is not about never falling. It is about rising again every single time you do. Think about the moments when you thought you could not go on, but somehow you did. Think about the nights you cried yourself to sleep, only to wake up and face the day anyway. That is courage. That is resilience. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for the battles we fight silently every day. Even getting out of bed when your soul feels heavy is a victory worth celebrating. Do not measure your progress by how fast you run, but by the fact that you refuse to stop moving forward. You are not defined by your past. You are not trapped by yesterday's mistakes or by the opinions of those who misunderstood you. Every morning you wake up, you have a brand new chance to begin again. Do not carry the weight of old regrets into today. What has happened is gone, and though you cannot change it, you can choose how it shapes you. Let yesterday refine you, not confine you. You are stronger than the pain, wiser than the mistakes, and braver than the fears that whisper you cannot go on. The world needs the light you carry. Do not believe the lie that your presence does not matter. There is someone out there waiting for the words only you can speak, the kindness only you can show, the love only you can give. Your life is not an accident. You were made with intention, designed for a reason greater than you may yet see. Even when you doubt yourself, remember that purpose is not always about grand achievements. Sometimes it is as simple as being the reason someone else chooses not to give up today. When the road feels long and lonely, remember that valleys are not forever. Mountains rise after the low places. Even the strongest storms run out of rain. Hold on to hope, even if it is only a whisper, because hope has a way of growing when you refuse to let it go. Speak life over yourself. Tell yourself you are capable, you are worthy, you are loved. The words you repeat to yourself have power, so choose words that build rather than destroy. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. What looks like success on the outside does not always mean peace on the inside. Everyone carries battles that are hidden from view. Focus on your path, your progress, your growth. Celebrate small victories because they matter. Step by step, you are becoming who you were always meant to be. The road may be longer than you expected, but every step forward counts. Trust the process, because even delays and detours can be part of the plan. When fear tries to stop you, remember that courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when fear is loud. When doubt whispers that you are not enough, remember that you have already survived things that were meant to break you. You are proof that impossible situations can be overcome. Every time you choose to rise instead of quit, you are rewriting your story. Do not let fear write chapters that belong to your faith. There will be people who misunderstand you, who judge you without knowing your heart. Do not waste your energy trying to prove your worth to those who cannot see it. Live in truth, walk in love, and let your actions speak louder than your defense. The right people will recognize your value without explanation. The wrong ones will never see it, no matter what you do. Free yourself from the prison of trying to earn acceptance from those who were never meant to understand you. In your darkest moments, remind yourself that you are not alone. Even when it feels like no one sees you, there is a presence that never leaves your side. Call out in your pain, and you will find strength greater than your own. Lean into faith, because faith is what keeps you steady when the ground beneath you shakes. Faith whispers that there is purpose even in the suffering, light even in the shadows, and hope even in the silence. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment. Life may not look the way you imagined, but that does not mean it has lost its meaning. Sometimes the most beautiful parts of life are the ones you never planned. Trust that even in the waiting, something is working in your favor. Be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. Healing takes time. Change takes time. Do not rush what is meant to unfold slowly, because slow growth lasts longer than quick fixes. Your voice matters. Your dreams matter. Your presence matters. Do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Stand tall in who you are, even if your voice trembles, even if your steps are shaky. Confidence is not about being fearless, but about being willing to try anyway. You are capable of more than you give yourself credit for. Push past the limits you set in your mind, because most of them are illusions. Break free, and you will see how much power was already inside you. As you continue this journey, remember that love is the greatest force you can carry. Love yourself enough to forgive your mistakes. Love others enough to show kindness, even when it is not returned. Love life enough to keep showing up, even when it hurts. Love has the power to heal wounds that anger and bitterness never could. Choose love again and again, because in the end, it is love that makes the struggle worth it. And when the day comes that you look back at your life, may you see not just the hardships you endured, but the strength you discovered, the lives you touched, and the love you gave. May you find peace in knowing that you did not give up, that you kept going when it would have been easier to quit, and that you lived a life of meaning. Because in the end, it is not about perfection. It is about perseverance. Not about never falling, but always rising. Not about being without fear, but moving forward despite it. So breathe deeply, lift your head, and keep walking. Your story is not finished. There are still chapters to be written, still dreams to be lived, still battles to be won. You are stronger than you realize, braver than you believe, and more loved than you can imagine. Hold on, keep going. The best is not behind you. It is still ahead. She sees every new day as a gift, every single breath as a blessing, and every step she takes as a miracle. And when you live with such gratitude, it shows, it shines through your face, in your words, and in the way you act. That glow is more precious than gold because it reflects a heart overflowing with joy in the Lord. Humility too has a beauty of its own because it makes room for others to rise. A humble woman doesn't need to stand in the center of attention. She listens when others speak. She lifts them higher. She gladly shares the light. Her humility becomes a blessing to those around her because it allows them to feel seen, valued, and honored. And this humility is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is strength. It is the understanding that raising others up does not bring her down. Instead, it makes her stronger. Because in lifting others, she reflects the very heart of God. And that reflection, that is beauty. Gratitude teaches her to carry joy through every season. Life doesn't always hand her what she wants, but gratitude reminds her to cherish what she already has. Gratitude keeps her safe from the trap of comparison because she knows her blessings are unique to her journey. She celebrates what God has done, and she waits with faith for what He will do. And that waiting isn't bitter. It is sweet, because gratitude has taught her that even delays are filled with God's goodness. That sweetness flows from her spirit, making her beautiful in ways this world cannot measure. The legacy of humility and gratitude is eternal. A humble woman teaches her children to serve, not to chase superiority. A grateful woman teaches her family to see blessings, even in times of hardship. Together, humility and gratitude become a heritage of faith, a light that shines long after she has gone. Her loved ones will not remember her for her possessions, but for her spirit. Not for her status, but for her character. Not for her appearance, but for her heart. And that kind of legacy is the true measure of beauty in the sight of God. The glow of humility is unlike any other glow. It softens her words, it gentles her spirit. It calms the storms around her. People are drawn to her, not because she demands attention, but because her humility makes her approachable, and her gratitude makes her uplifting. Her very presence becomes a safe place. Her words bring healing. Her actions inspire hope. This is the kind of beauty God treasures because it is not about self, but about service. Not about pride, but about praise. Not about collecting more, but about appreciating what is already there. So when God looks at a woman who walks humbly and lives with gratitude, He sees beauty in its purest form. He sees a heart that honors Him above everything else. A spirit that carries light into dark places. A life that reflects His grace in every step. She is beautiful because she does not lift herself high, she lifts her God high. She is beautiful because she doesn't complain about what she lacks. She rejoices in what she has been given. She is beautiful because her life is a constant reminder that true beauty isn't about what you show on the outside, but about what you carry deep in your soul. That is why humility and gratitude make a woman shine in a way nothing else can. They turn her into a vessel of grace, a beacon of hope, a reflection of divine love. And that beauty, the kind that comes from a humble heart and a grateful spirit, is everlasting. Purpose and obedience to God form the very heartbeat of a woman's true beauty in His eyes. When a woman understands that her life is not an accident, that her existence is intentional, that every step she takes is woven into a divine design, she begins to walk with a confidence that nothing can shake. She knows her purpose is greater than herself, greater than titles, trophies, or the approval of others. Purpose is what holds her steady in storms, what keeps her focused when distractions pull at her, what makes her stand firm in trials. It becomes her compass when the world pulls her in 100 different directions. She does not wander aimlessly because she knows the one who has called her and why He placed her here. That sense of calling gives her life meaning, and that meaning shines in ways that outward beauty never could. Obedience to God strengthens and preserves that purpose. It is one thing to know what you are called to do, but it is another to walk it out faithfully, step by step, even when the road is not easy. A woman who obeys God even when it costs her comfort, even when it clashes with people's expectations, even when it requires sacrifice. That woman is radiant in His sight. Obedience shows trust. It says, Lord, I may not understand, but I will follow. I may not see the full picture, but I will walk by faith. That kind of obedience is beautiful because it reveals the depth of her love and her reverence for God. It shows her life is not her own, but surrendered to the one who created her. And that surrender, it is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. Purpose gives her vision. Obedience gives her direction. Without purpose, life feels empty. Without obedience, life feels misaligned. But when the two walk together, they create harmony. A woman who knows her purpose and obeys, God carries a rare balance. She can endure challenges because she knows they are shaping her destiny. She can resist temptation because obedience matters more than short-lived pleasures. She can face criticism because her purpose is anchored in God's approval, not man's. That resilience, that steadfast spirit, becomes part of her beauty. It is not a beauty that the eyes can measure, but is one the soul can never forget. The world often celebrates independence, but in God's kingdom, true beauty is found in dependence on Him. Purpose is not self-made. It is God-given. Obedience is not self-serving. It is God-honoring. When a woman aligns her life with God's design, she shines in ways this world cannot explain. She may never stand under a spotlight on a stage, but she carries light within her spirit. She may never be celebrated by crowds, but she is always known and loved by her Creator. And that recognition is worth more than any applause or fame, because it is eternal. A woman living with purpose does not waste her days. She rises each morning with intention, knowing that every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment of service, every whispered prayer is part of her divine assignment. She is not driven by competition or comparison, but by calling. And that makes her free. Free from envy. Free from the crushing pressure of perfection. Free from chasing things that were never meant for her. Purpose brings freedom, and freedom is beautiful. Obedience requires humility and discipline. It's easy to obey when the path is smooth, but true beauty shines brightest when a woman obeys in the valley as faithfully as she obeys on the mountaintop. When she obeys God's whisper in private moments, when no one is watching, when no one claps, when it costs her dearly, that obedience is what God treasures most. Because it is real, it is costly, it is devotion. That obedience shapes her character, strengthens her faith, and draws her deeper into the heart of the Lord. And it radiates outward, becoming a testimony to everyone who sees her life. Her purpose may not look glamorous to the world. It may be raising children, building a home, caring for loved ones, supporting a family, or serving quietly where no one notices. But in God's eyes, no purpose is small if it is His will. No act of obedience goes unseen if it is done with a surrendered heart. That is the beauty of a woman who knows her calling. She doesn't despise small beginnings, and she doesn't crave big stages. She simply says, "Yes, Lord." And in that yes, her life becomes a masterpiece painted by God Himself. The beauty of purpose and obedience is also generational. A woman walking in purpose leaves a path for others to follow. Her daughters, nieces, and spiritual children see her example and are inspired to do the same. Her obedience to God speaks louder than any words. The world forgets accomplishments, but it never forgets a life marked by faithfulness. That faithfulness becomes her legacy, and such legacies never fade. Purpose and obedience also protect her from being swayed by the noise of this world. Fashions change, opinions shift, seasons turn. But a woman who knows her purpose and obeys God remains steady, rooted, unshaken. She's like a tree planted by streams of water, bearing fruit in season, standing firm even under the heat of trials. That steadfastness is beauty in its purest form, beauty that outlasts youth or popularity. It is beauty that endures. When God looks at such a woman, He sees His own heart reflected. He sees someone who trusts Him enough to follow when the road is uncertain. Someone who believes Him enough to lay down her plans for His. Someone who values His will above her own desires. That kind of trust, surrender, and faith makes her radiant. It isn't just her deeds that are beautiful. It is her posture of obedience and her awareness of purpose. The world may call beauty a face, a body, or a style. But God calls beauty a purpose fulfilled and a life surrendered in obedience. That is beauty that never wrinkles, never fades, never loses its glow. A woman who understands this truth walks differently, speaks differently, lives differently. She knows her worth is not defined by a mirror, but by her reflection of God's glory. Purpose and obedience do not just make her beautiful. They make her unshakable. She becomes a force of good, a vessel of light, a testimony of grace. And that beauty is one no circumstance can steal. That is the beauty that shines brightest in the eyes of God. And then there is the beauty that comes through faith and trust in God, a radiance that glows from within and cannot be dimmed by life's storms. A woman who trusts God completely carries a light no darkness can extinguish. Her faith is her anchor, her foundation, her steady flame. She doesn't rely on outward appearance for her worth, because her confidence comes from her Creator. This radiance is not from makeup or jewels. It is the unshakable glow of a soul leaning on God through every season. That inner light makes her stand out without even trying, because it's not about what she wears, but about who she trusts. Faith gives her courage to step into the unknown, to walk where others fear, to face challenges that seem impossible. She radiates strength not because life is easy, but because she trusts the one who makes all things possible. Trust in God drives fear from her heart, because she knows He holds her tomorrow as surely as He holds her today. Even when everything feels uncertain, she is steady. And that steadiness, it is captivating because it reflects peace. People may wonder, how does she stay calm in chaos? How does she smile in sorrow? How does she hold hope in hardship? The answer is her trust in God. That trust shines through her eyes, her words, and her presence. Faith shapes her perspective. Where others see impossibility, she sees a chance for God to move. Where others see defeat, she sees preparation for victory. Where others see an ending, she sees God's new beginning. Her faith keeps her spirit joyful, her words uplifting, her life inspiring. She becomes a source of encouragement to those around her because her faith is alive, active, contagious. Her trust makes her unshakable when life throws its hardest blows. She has learned to let go of control, placing her confidence in God's plan. She does not panic when things don't go her way. She knows His way is higher. She doesn't collapse under pressure. He is her strength. She doesn't drown in worry. He is her refuge. This surrender gives her a peace beyond understanding, a peace that shines brightest in darkness. Trust doesn't erase her pain, but it gives her reason to keep standing, keep moving, keep believing. That resilience flows from her, drawing others near, making them wonder where her strength comes from. Faith and trust protect her heart from bitterness. When people betray her, she forgives. When disappointments hit, she stays hopeful. When losses cut deep, she believes God can restore. She refuses to let life harden her heart, because faith keeps it tender with compassion and patience. That tenderness is beauty because it mirrors God's own heart. Her radiance through faith blesses everyone around her. Her children learn what it means to believe. Her friends find comfort in her words. Her community sees light in her example. She becomes living proof that faith is not just words, but a way of life. And the more she trusts God, the more she shines with His love and His strength. Her joy does not depend on circumstances. She doesn't wait for life to be perfect to rejoice. She praises in every season. In the wilderness, she sings. In the storm, she prays. In the fire, she trusts. That joy makes her stand out because it is not ordinary, it is supernatural. Her boldness is part of her beauty. She doesn't live small because faith tells her God can do more than she could ever ask or imagine. That courage inspires others, and the legacy of her faith lasts forever. Long after her voice is gone, her prayers remain. Long after her presence is gone, her example lives on. God treasures such a woman because her life proclaims His goodness. Her faith makes her shine in ways the world cannot explain. It is not built on wealth, looks, or success. It is built on eternal truth. And when God sees a woman who radiates faith and trust, He calls her beautiful. Not because of how she looks, but because of how she believes. When you put all these together, you see the portrait of a woman defined not by the world, but by the God who made her. She is radiant, not for what she wears, but for who she is in His eyes. She carries inner strength that sustains her in storms, kindness that touches every soul she meets, humility and gratitude that reflect worship. She walks with purpose, knowing her life has meaning. She follows with obedience, trusting God's ways above her own. Her faith is her crown, her trust her glow, her joy her song. She does not chase beauty because beauty follows her. She does not beg for love because she is already deeply loved by her Creator. Her very life becomes a testimony of grace, a light in darkness, a glimpse of heaven's design on earth. This is the message every woman must take to heart. Your beauty is not fragile. It is eternal. It does not fade with age. It does not vanish with trials. It does not depend on people's approval. It is rooted in God's love, nurtured by His Spirit, and revealed in your character. And when you choose strength, kindness, humility, gratitude, purpose, obedience, faith, and trust, you shine with a radiance nothing in this world can take away. So stand tall, beloved. Walk with confidence. Live as the masterpiece God created you to be. Because in His eyes, you are already beautiful.